So, back at it again with another one. So this one's a little bit interesting. Obviously, it's Goldie, which is clearly a rip-off of Bambi. I mean, what else would it be? But this one's got a bit of an interesting case because, so like Pocahontas, I have not seen this film, the original Disney film of Bambi. However, the reason I haven't seen this one is sort of a classic case of that very traumatizing scene of Bambi's mum being shot. My mum didn't want to take any risks of that. It's just like, I am not dealing with the trauma that will be caused by that, to my little kids. So yeah, I've never actually seen the original Bambi. So I'm wondering if it's going to be as traumatizing as the original film. Guess there's only one way to find out. Also, back to Dingo Pictures, it looks like.
Forest. All the animals, trees and flowers seem to hold their breath.
Okay, we need that sound effect. That was a bee.
If anyone dared say something, he whispered it quietly. When will it happen? The mouse squeaked, shy of
Oh, that's a bloody shriveled up mouse, isn't it?
the old tree said in a domineering way. Should I have a look? Asked the squirrel. Don't do that, Vuschel, the tortoise remarked. You will rustle the leaves too loud. We must be patient. But to remain patient was difficult for the animals. Restlessly, the squirrel hopped around. If you believe I'm too loud, perhaps the bird may have a look. He's very quiet.
What are they having a look at?
The old tree would, of course, never have admitted how curious he was. He had had this idea before.
I'm assuming that's, what is that, an otter?
People are not able
Maybe a beaver?
Wait, he mumbled. Well, let the bird have a look. The bird was happy to be able to do something and flew away. The animals were left behind, became...
So far, we've only got one voice actor for this whole thing.
It was full of suspense.
Okay, it's going so fast, you can't even see him do it.
Hurrah! Could suddenly be heard in the forest. Hurrah! It's there! It's there! The bird was fluttering over the animals excitedly. The silence of the forest was over. Everyone was chattering.
What
does it look
about?
like? Has it already got a name? May we visit it? Just go, said the old tree. Send it my regards and tell it that I am waiting for its visit. Full of impatience, the animals ran and jumped away.
I thought the rabbits were rolling at that one point. Kind of looks like they're rolling and it's just unfinished.
Full of pride, Mother was watching her baby. The father was looking at the kid with benevolence too. Suddenly his ears rose. I think there are visitors, he said. Oh, how pretty, how lovely. The animals were whispering to each other. This is the prettiest little kid
Okay,
ever born in the magic.
this is Bambi, not the freaking Lion King.
Golden, the squirrel said, full of enthusiasm. What's its name? Said Mummel the hare. We don't know yet, said the father. We haven't
And I don't really care.
about its name, but Vuschel has found it just now, said Mother dear. Vuschel was surprised. I have given it a name, he asked, full of amazement. Yes.
So they're narrating this like a story.
You said that the kid is golden. Goldie is the right name for my little daughter. Goldie's a nice name. Vuschel was so happy. He had found a name for a dear kid. This is a commitment. Vuschel swore to take care of Goldie everywhere and never leave her alone.
So Squirrel's the guardian, is it?
Soon Goldie learned to jump and run. Vuschel became her best friend. He played and rollicked with Goldie all day long. He showed her all the forest. He proudly introduced her to the other.
What was that funny? That had a weird face on it.
The visit of the two friends, and liked Goldie more and more because she was always friendly and cheerful.
I mean, it's not a bad deer design, but that's because they're just based off Bambi.
Trees, they lay lay down under the branches and listen to the old stories. The trees had been living in the forest for a long time, even longer than the old tortoise. Therefore they could talk about times when the wild bears and buffaloes were still alive and when only a few people came into this part of the forest. Today, the trees told Goldie the human beings could be dangerous. On Sunday afternoons, they invaded the forest in big groups and could disturb the silence of the animals. And sometimes, the tree said, hunters came into the forest and would kill the animals with their guns.
Yeah, we know all this. Hurry up so we can get to her parents getting shot.
She could not quite believe the stories told by the trees. But even without men, the forest could become dangerous. Goldie had to learn this quickly.
Oh, not the springing noises again.
Every day, Goldie and Wuschel played in the meadow. It was nearly summer, and everywhere it was blooming in the most beautiful...
At least the music isn't drowning out the voice acting.
Was watching the bees.
I had that problem with Animal Soccer World.
One of the bees she found particularly pretty and tried to nudge her with her nose again.
That's the worst design.
The bee enjoyed
that is a bad design bee.
With Goldie.
Like, what is that?
Wuschel shouted, but it was already too late. Goldie had fallen into the pond. She was rowing her legs heftily. The water's not too deep, Wuschel shouted. You can stand there. And indeed, when Goldie stopped kicking around, she noticed that her legs were on solid ground. She quickly jumped out of the pond. Wuschel laughed his head off.
Oh yeah, it's laid down and immediately got back up again.
Stop laughing, you two. That could have happened to you just as well. But not to me, the bee said cheerfully. And I always take care where I run along, Wuschel said, full of self-confidence. Goldie was sulking, but not for long.
I don't know what the original, script is. It's very clear they're not following what the original script is, because they're going... Because, none of them actually got distinct voices. Essentially just a narrator doing everything.
Wuschel ran home tiredly. Goldie's mother usually waited at the edge of the protected plantation area for the two friends. But today nobody was to be seen. Full of unrest, both of them were looking around.
Oh no, what happened?
Strange, Goldie said. Where could she be now? Goldie and Wuschel searched again and again until it became dark. They asked all the animals whether they had seen Goldie's mother.
Yeah, this is...
Nobody knew anything.
My dad just in the background just goes, kill Bambi, kill Bambi. This is so...
Tired and sad, Goldie and Wuschel lay down to sleep.
So I'm not going to show him getting shot.
They started the search again. After many hours of unsuccessful searching, they sat down in a meadow and were utterly depressed. What's the matter with you? They suddenly heard a voice. Can I help you with anything? It was Mummel, who had seen the two when he was looking for food.
So they're not going to show the parents getting shot. Great.
Nobody's seen her. We already asked all the animals in the forest. Oh dear, Mummel was terrified. That sounds bad.
Come on, you're going to commit.
Do you know anything? Have you seen anything? Well, I hope I'm wrong, but I'm afraid I'm right, Mummel said. Yesterday about lunchtime, I was lolloping along with my children in the meadow over there. Then I came quite near to your protected forest area. Suddenly it became dark, but it was not the sun that went down, but big shadows were falling on the grass. Mummel became very quiet. They were men. Men? Goldie shouted, horrified. Did they have guns? Did they kill my mother? I don't know. As soon as we noticed the men, we ran off quickly. But I haven't...
I like it, she immediately went for the worst.
Carry on. What happened then? I don't know, Mummel said sadly.
Oh no.
Mummel would have liked to comfort Goldie, but he didn't know how to do it. So he lolloped away slowly.
Again, it looks like it's rolling.
They've seen so much. Perhaps they know what may have happened. Bushlew suggested. They ran to the trees quickly and told them what they had heard from Mumu. Oh dear, said the trees, that is bad.
So right now we don't know if
No one
it's
who has
actually
had
dead or
anything
not.
to do with human beings has come back into our forest. From now on, nobody could hear Goldie laughing in the magic forest anymore. With sad eyes,
Why is it
she sat in
magic?
the meadow without saying a word. The other animals missed her laughing and rollicking, and after a while they also became more and more sad, became quiet in the magic forest. Even the birds twittered only little messages to one another. It was almost a belief.
No, really, they were tweeting back in those days.
For it had become darker and darker in the forest. One day,
Oh, here we
a
go.
wandering bear came into the magic forest. He looked around in amazement. Was this really the forest that he had known as a young bear? At that time, it had
Oh,
been
what, he
quiet
migrated, did he?
here, and everyone certainly had been happy. He took a rest near the old trees. "Hi, old tree," he said. "What has happened here? Why do you all keep your heads down?" "Shh, shh," the tree said, because the bear had spoken very loud, and nobody had done that in the magic forest in a long time. The bear looked
Oh,
amazed.
no.
"If you're not allowed to speak loudly anymore, you're in a bad situation. Now tell me immediately. There is always some way to help." "Not in this case," said the tree. "Listen, some months ago we were all very glad and happy. Then something terrible happened after that." And the old tree told the bear the story of Goldie and the disappearance of her mother. The bear listened full of interest. "Is there anything by which you can recognize Goldie's mother?" he asked. "Yes.
Bloody dear.
Goldie's mother had a white spot on her right front leg. That is something very special." "Then I've seen Goldie's mother," said the bear. "You've seen her? Is she alive?" the tree called. "She's alive!" The bird
Oh, no.
branches of the old tree shouted. He had heard everything and rose in the air and shouted, "She lives! She lives!" The animals looked up in horror. "Have you heard? The bird said she lives." They whispered because they did not dare talk too loudly yet. But as there were so many whispering, the whispering became louder and louder. In the end, there was a rustling through the magic.
It doesn't matter if
"She
they're
lives!
whispering or not.
Goldie's mother lives!" Goldie, who was sitting in the meadow, sadly heard this as well. "She lives!" She could hardly believe it. "The bear's seen your mother. She lives!" the bird shouted excitedly. Goldie jumped up.
Just like a little jumping chipmunk.
"Where's the bear?" "Near the old trees," the bird shouted. Now at last, after a long time, Goldie ran away with long jumps. "Stop! Not so quickly!" Vushel shouted and was hopping behind her.
No, running montage.
Where have you
We're
seen
not going to
her?"
get
she called
Bambi's
as she ran
parents
by the
shot,
old
are we?
trees. "That is a sad and long story," the bear said. Meanwhile, all the other animals had come together around the trees. "Listen," said the bear.
You're
"You
panting.
will know that many thousands of animals are killed by the people." They all shouted in horror, "But not always. Sometimes we're just caught and locked up by the human beings." "Why does that happen?" Mumble asked.
Breeding.
"No, exactly," the bear said. "Whatever the reason may be, they give us just a little piece of earth. They make a high fence with points around us so that it becomes impossible to jump across it. That is called an enclosure by the human beings. And then what will happen to the animals that are locked up?" the mouse squeaked.
Does he know
"Strange
this?
will happen. Every day many people turn up and look through the fence. We are never unwatched. There's absolutely no place we can go and hide ourselves from the looks of man."
Oh, so it's a zoo. Okay, it's not a farm, it's a zoo.
"Horrible," said the shy hedgehog. "But that's not everything," the bear said.
Oh, that's not that
"Often
bad.
people bring along drinks and food, and then they throw the empty tins and bottles behind the fence." "Where the animals are?" Fushel asked. "Exactly."
Well, they really need to invest in some bins.
"And often the animals injure themselves on pieces of glass or tins." "And Goldie's mother?" "I've
It's
seen
not a
her
very well-run
exactly
zoo,
such
is it?
an enclosure." "Is she injured?" Goldie asked in horror.
A proper zoo would make sure stuff like that doesn't happen.
"Ill." "Ill?" the old tree moaned. "Is it bad?" Yes. Unfortunately, the men do not come to the fence on foot, but they come in big cars. And these cars make a horrible noise and pollute the air. And the animals must breathe this polluted air all day long. And that's why Goldie's mother coughs all the time and has become ill. She can't get away from that? Fushel asked.
What, are they living by an industrial work factory or
Goldie's
something?
tears were running over her cheeks, and even the trees started crying.
To have it be constantly coughing?
Oh dear, that's impossible, Momo said, full of energy. There must be a way to free the animals. It has never been tried until now. But haven't you heard what the bear said? The fence is much too high to jump over it. That's true, it is too high. But how do you know that that's the only way over the fence? Perhaps there may be a way under the fence.
No, so
Under the fence?
this has become the Great Escape
Right
now.
here. Then off we go, the bear said. The animals started to move. It was a tiring way, and it lasted for many, many hours.
Okay, what the bee gonna do? You can fly, you dumbass. You don't need to be on his back. Hey, they're really dragging this one out.
At last they saw the fence.
Oh, finally.
Goldie wanted to run. Stop, ordered the bear. We've got to wait until it is dark and the people have gone home. Or do you want to be caught yourself? The animals hid behind a high hedge. At last it became quiet. The last cart took...
This looks more like a farm than a zoo to me.
Let's go, the bear whispered. Cautiously they all moved to the enclosure. It was a sad sight they saw. The tired animals...
I wonder if they do it at that angle, because they can't do a side angle. Okay, so it's clearly a zoo.
Mom, Goldie shouted quietly, but when Mom did not react, she shouted a bit louder, Mom! Very slowly, Mother Deer turned around her head. Goldie? She whispered very weakly.
I say, it must be a pretty poorly run zoo.
All were quiet because of their emotion. Mummel was the first to start talking. I'm as glad as you are, he said, breathing deeply. But we must start working now. We want to free all of you, Wushel said proudly.
Alright, so what's the big
Everyone
plan?
needs to know how to do it. Let's start.
I assume they'll just dig
Some of
under the
animals had
fence.
disappeared. Where have they all gone? Goldie's mother asked. Don't you hear anything? Goldie asked. Mother Deer raised her ears so she could hear it herself. There was a nibbling and a scratching.
Let's say dirt.
The hare, the squirrel, the mice, and the rest of the animals were nibbling busily at the fence with their sharp teeth.
Oh.
Moles dug deep holes underneath the fence. Without a break, they worked hour by hour. That should be enough now, Momo said at last.
Oh, just randomly, hour after hour. That should be enough.
Now you can slip through the fence. Full of doubt, the locked animals came nearer.
There's no way the stag's gonna fit with those antlers.
Who will be first? The bear asked. I'm sure it will work. Goldie's mother made herself as small as she could, and she was at last able to slip through the fence.
Yay! Well, come on, get the rest of them. What did he do?
He said, we can celebrate this later. But
He did nothing.
Others have to get out of there. While Goldie and her mother were cuddling to one another, the other animals slipped through the fence. And away from here as quickly
There's no way that stag
It's already
fit.
getting bright.
No, those antlers.
People will turn up here, the bear warned. It was a strange procession which at dawn moved towards the magic forest.
Oh, you lazy
Often
blade
they had to
squirrel.
take a rest, because some of the animals were injured and very weak. But they managed to do it.
that's a funny image right there.
Coming! The bird shouted. Under the old trees they came together for a great festival. And at last, after many weeks and months, everybody was happy and cheerful in the magic forest again. and
And
all
then they
the
get shot.
sunbeams were dancing full of joy on the leaves of the bushes and the trees.
Don't tell me it ends now. Are you kidding me? That was it? Okay, so a few things. Firstly, it says here on the back of the. I want to just emphasize the back of the box here. As well as a great half-hour cartoon video. Firstly, that was not great. Secondly, that wasn't half an hour. I'm looking at my recording. It didn't even reach 20 minutes. That's the shortest one yet. That was ridiculous. Secondly, okay, it's not like they didn't have anything to work off of. The original Bambi films from I was looking it up during the filming. It was 1942. Seriously, they couldn't even indulge me in like the sick idea of them actually getting shot. It's like, nah, they sort of faked it a bit. It's like, oh, did she get shot? And it's like, no, no, she just got captured, just sent to the zoo. Also, about getting sick is like the car's constantly polluting. It's like you'd have to be in like an industrial factory for that to work. I love the fact there was only one voice actor as well. They decided to stick with the narration, which I've never seen the original Bambi, so I don't know if that's how it worked. But I'm like, that didn't seem to work. One thing I like is very clear that the voice acting, like the original dialogue, I think German it would have been because yeah, Dingo Pictures. The original German dialogue would have probably had they probably had a completely different script where the animals actually talk to each other. And the fact is, for English dub, they just scrapped all that and just had a narrator do the lot. That took no time whatsoever, and that was just a nothing burger. There's nothing worth in that one. Alright, well, that's another one down. I still got a few more currently here. I don't think I've got any more in the post anyway. Alright, I'll see you at whatever the next one's going to be. I'm not 100% sure. Look, it's a penguin.